Hey everyone, and welcome to Isms by Josie. Today we're going to be continuing doing Dr. Finklestein from Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas crochet kit. For my returning subscribers, thank you so much for tuning in. And for my new viewers, please consider subscribing, share, hit that like button, leave a comment below, and click on that notification bell for future videos. So today, you guys, we're going to be continuing Dr. Finklestein. We left off by starting the wheelchair that he sits in, and last was adding the wire threading to the chair. So I had gone around the whole backing of this. I did the wire on one side, which was in the last video, and then I just went across with the single crochet stitch. And then I just repeated the same thing on the other side, as well as going around the other end of the project here. If you need to go back to the other video to just use the same instructions to do the other side, go ahead and do that now. But we're going to move forward to getting this done. If you need to slow down or speed up the video, click on the gear button in the corner of the screen. You can change the playback speed there. If you don't need to hear me talk, you could always lower the volume and click on the closed caption button. So where I left off was going all the way around to the other side of the project. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to finish these last few bits. We do have a corner, so we started here. I'm going to finish off this single crochet stitch, and then I'm going to do 2 single crochet stitches in this corner, or 3. Let's see, I think I have to do 3, yeah. And then we're going to do a slip stitch to tie it all in together, fasten it off, and then there's instructions on how to bend this. So what I'm going to do is just cut a little bit. You don't need too much here. I'm going to yarn over, pull this through the loop all the way out and pull it, and then I'm going to take my crochet hook, and we're just going to weave in the ends in and out just like this to conceal that extra piece. And as this is bending, you can see that it's staying shape because it has that wire on each side. But we're going to read the instructions and see how they want us to bend this. Okay, if you have little fringes, you can always just cut them off later. Okay, so use the pliers to fold a small piece of wire on both sides to secure it. Join the gray yarn on the other long side and repeat. Okay, fold the body of the wheelchair following the rounds with the back loop only stitches. The thin black stripe is the top of the chair, and the thicker black stripe is the footrest. So basically what it's saying is we have to find the areas where we did the back loop, which you can clearly see here, and this is where we're going to be bending that wire inside the sides. See how like crisp it's getting? That back loop only really helps doing that, so it ends up looking real nice. Then we have to, according to the photo, let's bring this down a bit. We have another back loop bend here. We're going to bend this over. You can make a nice crisp pinch and then pull it out a little bit. In fact, do that on the other one if you didn't do that. Okay, so this is the bottom side of the chair we've got here, and then we have another bend right after this black piece to make the footrest. So you want to fold this up, pinch the sides, so we've got that going on. Then we're going to be folding this part back. This is the other back loop part, we're just going to bend this back, create this, I don't know, is this supposed to be like a headrest kind of? Okay. So here we have our chair folded. Now we have to make the armrests. Okay, so we're going to get the gray color here. Okay, so for the armrest, we're making two. So we know that I'm going to be doing this off to the side, the second one, I mean off frame. But the first row, here, let me use this as a paperweight. This is the new floral wire I got. I have this one. I don't know if we're going to be using it again anytime soon, but I got more. Okay. With gray, chain 10. So we are going to do a cast on to the hook using a slip knot. So what we're going to do is take your your ring finger and your pinky and your thumb. We're going to hold the end piece right here. Then we're going to take the index and middle, and we're going to hold apart maybe like 1.5 inches of the yarn. So then you want to take your hook and lie it perpendicular to the yarn. Then we're going to go down, out, and around to make a nice loose loop on the yarn or around the hook so that you can slide it up and down. Let me do this one more time for you. Perpendicular to the yarn, we're going to go down, out, and around to make it slide up and down the yarn. So I'm going to slide it down to my thumb. I want to take my middle finger and just hold it right where it crosses. I'm going to let go of my left hand. I'm going to gather up some yarn here around my finger, and then we're going to pinch the end of this yarn here with the thumb and the middle finger. Once I've got that secure, I'm going to slide the hook farther down towards the thumb. Once I hit that thumb, we're going to pinch with the thumb and the middle finger where it crosses so that you can stabilize your hook. It can no longer slide up and down. You are pinching it right where it crosses. Okay, so now we're going to yarn over and we're going to pull this strand through this loop. Okay, so now I'm going to do an overhand with my hook here. I'm going to make sure that I maintain this pinch on the middle with the middle finger and the thumb. I want to push this knot towards this thumb. So take your index and thumb on your right hand and push the knot closer to your left hand. As you're doing this, one or two things is going to happen. You're going to hit your thumb on your left hand and you can't move anymore. Or you're going to push the knot to where the knot is too tight and you can't move it anymore. So either one of those is okay. But what we're going to do after that, because I hit my thumb, I can't move it down anymore. I'm going to take my thumb and middle finger and just tug on it a little bit to make that knot nice and snug. And once that's snug, I'm going to grab the knot with my right hand. We're going to slide it towards the hook. So pull it up towards the hook. You want to leave yourself some room because we have to start making chains. So gather up your yarn. It says we got to do 10 chains. So we're going to do that. So to stabilize your project, hold on to that knot. You can go back to underhanding your hook. So this will, stabilizing your project will help you be able to do your chains. If you didn't, you'd be floating around everywhere, and it's very, I think it's impossible, to be honest. But anyway, grip onto that knot. We're going to yarn over. You're going to pull up a loop. That's one chain. Okay, looks like a braid. Now we're going to yarn over, pull up a loop. That's another chain. Now you have two looking braids. We're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, and then now you have three. So for every instruction in all my videos, if it's new, I do it 3 times for you to see, and then thereafter I'll do it my normal speed. So if I were to go slow the whole entire time, we would be here forever. We would be here for weeks. I would never get any video done. So if you need extra help with the instructions, I would just rewind it until you're comfortable enough to go and do it on your own. But I do try to repeat new instructions at least 3 times. Okay, so now that we have 3 chains on here, let's do 7 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you want, you can creep up your thumb and your middle finger so you can stabilize it better. 6, 7. Voice is already cracking. So just double check that you have 10 altogether. So 3, 6, 9, 10. Okay, so we have 10 chains, sorry. We're going to skip the first chain from the hook, and then we're going to do 9 single crochet stitches in turn. So I also do this too, no matter what the project is, just in case we have moments that expose the bottom. It'll look nice and you can see the braiding. So what I'm talking about is when you normally start your single crochets after you do chains, when it says skip a chain, so from the hook, you skip the first chain here, then you work in the second one. So normally you just stick your hook on the top loop only, not the bottom one, the top one. And then you go about your merry way doing single crochet stitches. You can do it that way and call it a day, but it tends to ruin the nice braiding. So I always do it even though they don't call it out, just in case it gets exposed. I turn it on its side and you can see the back loops. These are the little humps, I call them. So when you skip a stitch and you go into the next one, I put the hook into that back loop or hump. And then I do my single crochet stitches. So if you can see where my hook is poking through, if you look on the other side, the braid is undisturbed. So that's the only reason why I do it. So you can do it either way. I'm just going to do it this way. So we skip a chain, and then in the second one from the hook, we're going to do a single crochet stitch. So from here, you want to do a yarn over, you want to pull up a loop, and then you want to yarn over again and pull through 2 loops. So now we have our first single crochet stitch, and then that skipped chain just becomes the chain for the height of the row. So now we have to do 8 more. So into the next stitch, you're going to stick your hook in, then we're going to yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So now we have 2 single crochet stitches. Let me do this one more time with you guys. We have to do 7 more. So into the next stitch, put in your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So now we have 3 single crochet stitches and our skip chain, that becomes the chain 1. And if you did it the way that I did it, if you turn it on its underside, you have a really nice braiding underneath, as well as really nice braiding on top. It's just a little extra that you don't have to do, but I do it. Okay, so now we have to do 6 more. So go and do 6 more single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. For the 6th one here, you see how we have this little excess piece sticking out? I'm going to make sure that I lie that smooth over the hook, and I have my yarn here we're going to do a yarn over, but I want to make sure that I get it over that excess piece. So we're going to yarn over and pull it through the loop, and it kind of acts like a trap. If it's too short, then it's going to come out just like it did. But that's okay. You could always trim it if it gets annoying, but go about your way doing a single crochet stitch, and then we've completed our first row. All right, so I'm going to use a marker this time because it seems like for rows 2 through 6 we're going to do the same instruction. So grab a marker, put it at the end of your row here, the last stitch that you made, the top front and back loops of the braid, pretty much, of the last stitch you made. So this becomes 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now this kit came, I believe, with 4 or 5 of these, so use them. They're very helpful, especially if you're constant up and down, you know, your seat there doing things. But we are going to do a chain 1, 9 single crochet stitches, and turn. So that's pretty straightforward. I'm going to do it in silence. Okay, so we completed rounds 2 through 6. We have to do row 7. We have to chain 1, single crochet spike 9 on the row below. So I'll show you what that is. So I'm going to get some yarn here. You no longer need the markers. I took all of them out because this is the last row. So you know what? I always tend to turn after I chain 1, so turn, chain 1. Okay, so a single crochet spike stitch is putting in your hook not in the stitch on that row that we're working with. We're putting it below the row we're working with. So rather than put it here like this, we are going to put it around the bars. So I don't know what these are called. It probably says it in the book in the front somewhere. But we're going to go around these, let's call them spokes. I don't know. I used to ride a bike. So anytime you make a stitch, these are stitches of course, but when you crochet around them, I can't remember what they call them, but you can crochet around these spokes, stitches, and do it that way. So that's basically what it is. So we're going to go into the first spoke here because we got to do 9 of them. So you want to get in and out of that spoke or stitch. We're going to do a single crochet stitch that way. So we're going to yarn over and you're going to pull up a loop, but you want to pull it all the way up to where it's nice and even. We're going to pull this no matter how long it is. If you don't do that, you're going to scrunch up your stitch and it's going to look different. So pull up that loop in line with your chain 1, and then we're going to yarn over and pull through both loops as if we were doing our single crochet stitch. We're going to do it again. So you want to go into the second one now around that spoke. One of these days I'll figure, I forget. When you do, I forget, cable? No, I don't know. Anyway, so we stuck it in around that spoke and we're going to do a yarn over and pull up another loop, make it in line with your loop on your hook. And we're going to yarn over and pull through both loops like we're doing a single crochet stitch. So you see what's happening here? We're creating a very long or very tall single crochet stitch. So let's do this one more time with you guys. Stick your hook at the bottom row around that next spoke. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop in line with your loop on your hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through both loops. So we have 3 here. We are going to continue this 6 more times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then last one, 6. Okay, so altogether we have 3, 6, 9, and it's looking like this now. How nice. Okay, so we're going to fasten this off, leaving a tail for sewing. Join the gray yarn to make the single crochet border on one of the short sides and sew the armrest to the chair. Okay, so I don't know how much we're going to need. I'm going to grab a lot because it looks like we got to do one of these. So I just want to make sure that I have enough. I'm going to get my tapestry needle. Where are you? Here it is. We're going to thread this through here. And again, I really don't like this. Ah, that was good until I pulled it. Yeah, we're going to be here for a while. If I feel like this is too long, I'm going to pause the video. Okay. Ah. Oh, and I didn't fasten it off because I was too busy. All right, well, this is what you can do. If you forget to fasten off, just pull a loop out, take out your hook. We're just going to do this the manual way and just put your needle through the loop and pull it out. That's all it is. And then you can tighten it up. Okay. All right, join the gray yarn to make a single crochet border on one of the... Wait, are you telling me I have to make a single crochet border on one of the short sides? Oh my gosh, why didn't you just tell me to do that? I could have done that without having to fasten it off, people. All right. So let's look at some photos. I'm really not liking this part now. It's very, like, why? I wish there was a clearer photo of this. Well, I mean, I don't want to jump the gun here, but I feel like they wanted you to do a single crochet border. So it attaches on like this. And, you know, I'm going to sew this side. When we get to this side, I can always do a single crochet border for that. Is right? Join the gray yarn to make a single crochet border on one of the short sides. And then sew the armrest of the chair. But you know what? We're here. I hate cutting and tying. Like, why would you make me do that? They should have just had us do what we did here and just went straight into the border, and then we can sew the rest. I know, Dexter's like, don't get mad. Get even. Okay. Okay, so why don't we just do that then? If you had fastened it off, you know, hopefully you didn't pull it tightly, but you can always undo it. If you did it tightly, even if you can get your tapestry needle through the loop, making sure that you don't stick your needle through any of the yarn. You can put your needle through that loop and come back out so that we can undo this fasten off. Because we should just go straight into a single crochet stitch. I'm not going to even remove this. Hopefully I can just keep this on there so I don't have to rethread it. But put your hook back in. We're going to do a single crochet stitch border like we did in the last video. Okay, so in the last video they wanted you to do a single crochet stitch in each row. So you can go back in here and stick your hook into the ends of each row and make your single crochet stitch. And it doesn't have to be perfect. We are just creating a border, so it's gonna cover the edge anyway, no matter what you do. So just have to stick this in here and keep doing the single crochet stitches. Once you get to the last row, then stop. We're going to fasten off and then sew the armrest to the chair. Okay, so we have that. I'm going to pull out the loop again. So now we have our nice continuous border that they wanted. And we're going to slip the needle through the loop to fasten off. This time for real's deal. Since we're kind of down already on this corner, we can sew it to the chair like this. And then we're gonna sew it this way, come back up. Okay, so depending on how you want to sew it from the outside versus the inside, maybe I'd like to do straight stitching on the outside so we can cover up any inconsistencies. So I'm going to do it that way. You can do it however way you want. It doesn't really specify, and we all know that I do not sew. So I'm just going to do it this way. Straight stitches. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. If you wanted to sew it from the inside, you just fold it the other way. Like you fold it out and you sew it that way, but I'm just going to do the outside. If you can, and if you want to go fancy, you can do like a crisscross. That would be cool. But I don't know how to do that, so I was just thinking out loud if I knew how to do it. Oh. We are underway. Then again, you have to do 2 of these. So I'm gonna come in at some point and do all the second pieces I was supposed to make and just have them sewn on together. But since we just started this video, I'm gonna do the front wheel next. Okay, in case you're wondering, I'm just putting, sewing 1 in each row, like we did with the single crochet stitch. They probably should have had you put wire on the armrest because you need some strength there. Dexter, stop it. Dexter's back. He's biting the tablecloth. He does not like it when I'm filming. Dexter, stop it. I know you need more fiber in your diet, but that's not the way. It's not. You heard me. He's so funny. Okay. So now we have reached the other end. We gotta hide this somehow. So I'm gonna, I don't know, randomly try to hide it somehow. If you know how to tie knots, tie knots. If you don't, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I'm just trying to make, not zigzags. I'm just trying to make it like, you know, naughty. then cut the piece here. You don't need much, so I'm going to weave this in and out of the project. Okay, so we have our first arm done, and I will do the other side as well as all the other two parts I was supposed to do. I actually have the arms and the glove and the leg done. I just gotta sew it onto this guy, but we're gonna move on to the front wheel. Okay, I actually went off and did the other arm, sew that on, and it's very flimsy. I mean, I don't know how much weight this guy's gonna put in there, but I feel like there should be a wire thread. If you get to not do this yet and you're watching this first, maybe put wire threading along the edges of it all together. And I even feel like, because this is bowing in and out, I don't know. I feel like, because I'm an overdoer, I would put ribbing here, ribbing up and down here. Where else? I think that's about it. Maybe ribbing like up and down here. I don't know. Anyway, so let's move on to the front wheel, inner front wheel that we have to make 2 from. With the gray, we're going to do the 6 single crochet stitches within the adjustable ring. So let me show you guys how to do that. We're going to yarn over. We're going to wrap this around our finger twice. We're going to leave a little bit of overage so we can put our thumb right over that. You can tighten this up. We're going to go palm up, and we're going to slip our hook right underneath the 3 strands. I'm going to pull the strand out, and I'm going to drag this strand underneath these 2. So let's do that. Once we get that underneath the 2 strands, we have to close this adjustable ring. So you want to do a yarn over and slip this strand through that loop. And once you get that done, you can let go of your your middle finger, and then slip off the adjustable ring off your index. Now we're going to do our chain 1 and then the single crochet stitches. So I'm going to gather up some yarn here. Okay. Then we're going to do a chain 1. So yarn over and pull that through the loop. That's a chain 1. Then we're going to do 6 single crochet stitches. So into the adjustable ring, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. Again, stick your hook into the adjustable ring, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. One more time with you guys, into the adjustable ring, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So now we just have to do 3 more. So right now you should have 3 single crochet stitches and your chain stitch. We're doing 3 more. 1, 2, and 3. So once we have 6 on there, you want to close the adjustable ring. And how you do that is we're going to grab the excess piece here. You want to take your index and thumb and hold the lower stitches just a little tightly. And then we want to pull the excess piece here. We're going to see which one of these loops goes inside first. So once you identify that, stop pulling. So we'll pull. Okay, so we saw this loop go in first. So what we have to do now is pull the lower part of this. If I'm holding it like this, you want to pull this lower part out. So whichever loop went in first, pull that lower part out, and you're going to pull it all the way until the other loop is completely gone. you're going to find it going into the adjustable ring, which is what we need it to do. And once it gets to where you can't see it anymore, like that, then we can take this excess piece and pull this so that the other loop disappears. We do this because this will give you a nice clean pull. If you pulled all at once, there's more likely a chance that it bunches up and it doesn't go in all the way, and then you're just gonna have this really hot mess. Okay, so I'm pulling out a little bit to make it snug, and I'm pulling it in the opposite direction and up, because sometimes you need to pull that extra little bit of slack, and that will close your hole in your adjustable ring entirely. So now what we're going to do is mark off our last stitch we made at the top of the stitch, front and back loops. Make sure you clear that. Okay. All right, so we marked off for our next round. We have to do an increasing stitch in all 6 stitches and end up with 12 stitches. So let me show you what an increasing stitch is. We're going to first count back 6 stitches from the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You want to stick your hook into the 6th stitch, and we're going to start our increasing stitch. So that's basically doing 2 single crochet stitches in 1 stitch. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, then stick your hook back into that same stitch we just used, and we're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So now we have 2 single crochet stitches coming out of that one. So let's move on to the next one, an increasing stitch. Put your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Put your hook back into that same stitch. We're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So again, we have 2 more single crochet stitches in 1 stitch. So you should have 4 in total. Next one, into the next stitch, an increasing stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, then into that same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So now we have 6 single crochet stitches. I just have to repeat this 3 more times. So let's do 3 more increasing stitches. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So now we have 12. I'm going to remove the marker and replace it at the top of the last stitch that we've made. Okay. Then we're going to move on to round 3. We have an increasing stitch, a single crochet stitch 6 times, and end up with 18. So we are going to do an increasing stitch. So into the next stitch, do an increasing stitch. Then we're going to do a single crochet stitch. Then we're going to do an increasing stitch. And then a single crochet stitch. And then an increasing stitch. And a single crochet stitch. And then we just have to repeat this 3 more times. Okay, so now I'm going to remove the marker, replace it at the top of the last stitch we've made. Top of the stitch that we just made. Okay. Now we're going to move on to round 4. For round 4, we have an increasing stitch, 2 single crochet stitches 6 times, and end up with 24 stitches. Okay. So we're going to do, an increasing stitch. Then we're going to do 2 single crochet stitches. Then we're going to do an increasing stitch. Then we're going to do 2 single crochet stitches. Then we're going to do an increasing stitch. And then 2 single crochet stitches. And then I just have to repeat this 3 more times. Okay, then I'm going to remove the marker and I'm going to replace it at the top of the last stitch we've made. It's hard to see this way. Okay. All right, so now for round 5, we're going to do an increasing stitch, 3 single crochet stitches 6 times, and end up with 30. So into the next stitch, we're going to do an increasing stitch. Then we're going to do 3 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to do an increasing stitch. Then we're going to do 3 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to do an increasing stitch. Then we're going to do 3 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3. And then we just have to repeat this 3 more times. Okay, then I'm going to replace the marker to the top of the last stitch made. All right, if the camera's shaking for some reason, The people downstairs just have to slam every door every 2 seconds. So, for round 6, we're going to do an increasing stitch, 4 single crochet stitches 6 times. This is going to be the last row. Okay, let's get some yarn here. Okay. So we're going to do an increasing stitch. We're going to do 4 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to do an increasing stitch. Four single crochet stitches, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to do an increasing stitch, and then we're going to do 4 single crochet stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we just have to repeat this 3 more times. Okay, remove the marker. We have to fasten off and weave ends. So we don't need much, so I'm just going to cut a little bit off. Then we're going to yarn over and pull everything out. And then we're going to tighten this up. And then we're just going to weave the ends. Now, the other thing is if we did it the way that almost every other kit I've used does it, where you do a slip stitch after every round, all the rounds would be even and you really wouldn't have this little bump here. So I think that's where they kind of miss an opportunity to make it nice and even. If I were to build the wheel again, like I created it, I would do each round with a slip stitch. I think that would be the better move. But I don't know, maybe they have you like sew a border or crochet a border, so maybe you hide it after. So we'll see what it says afterwards. But also now we have this guy to worry about. You can cut this shorter. And I'm going to weave this. I don't want to cut it all the way because, you know, I've never tested it, but I would hate to lose any stitching because I cut it too short, you know. So I'm just going to weave this as well. But also, I mean, I guess I should have read ahead. We might, like I said, we might sandwich this. So we might be hiding the yarn anyway. Like, I want to pull this through, but I know it's not enough to go back around. So I feel like, since there's no design on here, you can see like it's kind of plain, and on this side it's nice and spirally. Maybe we are going to end up sandwiching this into together. But anyway, we have the front wheel. So front wheel outer. Okay. With gray, we're changing to black as soon as we do our adjustable ring, which is kind of, you know, Well, since we know we're switching to black and we're switching right away, I'm going to cast on right away my black. So, like we did before, we're going to hold with our pinky ring and thumb. At the bottom, our index and middle, about 1.5 inches or 1 inch away. I'm going to take my hook and lie it perpendicular. Then I'm going to go down, out, and around to make a loop around this hook. I'm going to take my middle finger and place it right where it crosses so I can hold it in place. I'm going to let go of my left hand. I'm going to gather up some yarn here. And then I'm going to pinch the bottom of this excess piece, and we're going to slide the hook down towards the thumb. And once you get there, you want to pinch where it crosses so that you stabilize your loop and it can't go up, it can't go down. Now we're going to yarn over and we're going to pull this through the loop like that. And then I'm going to overhand my hook. I'm going to pinch the end piece very tightly. And then I'm going to push this knot towards my thumb with this index and this thumb. So let's do that. And then 1 or 2 things will happen. Either the knot gets really tight to where you can't push it anymore, or the knot gets brought up close to the thumb. But once you hit either situation, then you can take your thumb and your middle finger and just pull out that excess piece just a little bit to make the knot nice and snug. Once you've got that down, I'm going to take my thumb and index and we're going to grip the knot kind of lightly, but we want to be able to pull it towards the hook. So pull that knot towards the hook. You want to leave yourself some room. So now that we have this slip knot set up, we're going to remove the hook. Try not to lose that. I'm going to set this down and we're going to start our adjustable ring. So for the front wheel, outer one, we're going to do with the gray an adjustable ring. So like I showed you, wrap this around twice, once, twice, and you want a little bit of overage to put your middle finger on. You can tighten this up. Then we're going to palm up. You're going to slip the hook underneath the 3 strands. Then we're going to pull this back out, but we're going to pull this strand under these 2. Okay. Once you have that, you want to yarn over, and then you want to pull this through the loop. Okay, and that closes your adjustable ring. Then you can let go of your middle finger, and then you can remove this off your index. And then we're going to start our chain 1 with our single crochet stitches. Okay, so we are going to do a chain 1. Then we're going to do 6 single crochet stitches. So into the adjustable ring, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, into the adjustable ring, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, into the adjustable ring, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Then we just have to do this 3 more times, but we're going to stop partially at the last one. So 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to yarn over and pull up a loop, but before we finish that one, because we're switching right away to black, I'm going to grab my black that we just did, slip it onto the hook, and instead of yarning over and pulling with the gray, I'm just going to pull the black through. So we'll do that. Now before I cut this, I mean, I don't even know if we're switching. Oh, we're going to be switching back to gray. Yeah, we're going to leave this on here. This is going to be a nightmare. But what we have to do is close the adjustable ring. So you have your black, you have the gray that we didn't use, and then we have this excess gray. Now the same thing that I showed you how to close the adjustable ring before, we're going to do again. So pull this to see which loop goes in first. Okay, so once we have identified which loop it is, you want to pull the lower half. So it's this lower part out, and you're going to see the other, if you have to hold these back, hold them back. You're going to see the other loop go in, and you want to pull till that's entirely gone. Okay, just keep pulling. Okay, so then we're going to take the excess piece and we're going to pull that so that the other loop goes in. And then just to make sure you got every little bit out there, you want to pull in the opposite direction and up. So it gives you just a little bit more pull, and then your hole should be gone completely. Now the grays we're going to leave out here. We are going to do the next round 2 through 5. So I'm going to mark the top of this last stitch. Okay. And then I'm going to, so this will be 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So with the black, follow the instructions for rounds 2 through 5 from front wheel inner above. Well, that's just plain laziness. Okay. So we're going to do rounds 2 through 5. Okay. And then we're going to change to gray. So for round 2, increase stitch in all 6 stitches. So count 6 stitches from the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Stick your hook into the 6th stitch. Again, we're going to leave these grays back here. So we're going to do an increasing stitch. Okay. Then we're going to do another increasing stitch. Then we're going to do an increasing stitch. And then we're going to repeat this 3 more times. So 3 more increasing stitches. Okay, so this is going to be hard to see because now we're using a dark color. The stitches aren't going to be clear enough, so I would say rewind back to the inner wheel up to where we have round 2 and play it till round 5, and then you can follow along that way if you really need to see the stitches. Okay. Okay, let me get some yarn here. Things got a little tussled up. 2, 4, 5, wait. 2, 3, 4, 5, okay. So we did the increasing stitch on all stitches, and then we're going to copy round 3 from the front wheel inner. So we are going to do an increasing stitch. Okay. Then we're going to do a single crochet stitch. Then we're going to do an increasing stitch, a single crochet stitch, an increasing stitch, and a single crochet stitch. And then we're just going to repeat this 3 more times. It's so hard to see with the dark colors. Okay. Mark off the last stitch that you made. And then we're going to copy around 4 from the front wheel inner. So we have an increasing stitch, 2 single crochet stitches 6 times, end up with 24. So an increasing stitch, two single crochet stitches, an increasing stitch, 2 single crochet stitches, an increasing stitch, 2 single crochet stitches, and then we just have to repeat this 3 more times. Okay, then we're going to mark the last stitch, and we're going to copy round 5. So this is the last round we're going to copy. We have an increasing stitch, 3 single crochet stitches 6 times. Okay, so we're going to do our increasing stitch. We're going to do 3 single crochet stitches, 1, 2, 3. We're going to do our increasing stitch. We're going to do 3 single crochet stitches, 2, 3. We're going to do our increasing stitch. And we're going to do 3 single crochet stitches. 2, 3. And then we just have to repeat this 3 more times. put the marker in here. Oh, I guess we have rounds 2 through 5. How is that even possible? Right? We have to copy 6. Wait, why? Right? 2, 3, 4, 5. Did I copy all of them? Why do I have an extra one? 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I guess maybe I put it after the fact. All right, well, we completed all the rounds though, so I guess I didn't need this extra marker. So I guess remove the other ones. Yeah, because I think when I did the increasing stitches, I didn't, I took it out. Did I take it out and I put it back on? I can't remember. Let's just count though. We have to have 30 stitches. So 3, 5, and it's so hard to tell. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Yeah, we have 30. Okay. All right. Well, I pulled an extra marker. But anyway, so it says follow instructions for rounds 2 through 5 from front wheel in or above. Ah, dang it. I got to change to gray. Sorry, guys. I need to get my stuff together. So I'm removing the marker. I'm going to remove half of the stitch here. So slip it out gently if you already did that. I know. Okay. So I put the hook back in the 2 loops. So we have to just switch to gray. So you know how we left this on here, and we're going to be covering this up anyway. So I don't think we need to mind that we're stretching this far. So rather than yarn over and pull through 2 loops with the black, we're going to do the gray. So yarn over, and then you can pull through those 2 loops. Oops. So now we've switched to gray. Let's see, look ahead if we turn to black again at any point. Round 6, and place the inner part of the wheel beneath. Crochet both layers at the same time. Cut a circle slightly smaller than the wheel size from the cardboard and insert it between the 2 parts. Okay, so we won't need the black anymore. So what we're going to do is cut off like 1.5 inches or so. And normally I have you guys tie it around the existing feeder yarn. But since we've got this gray piece here, just tie it twice to the gray excess piece from the beginning. And obviously try to leave some slack so that you don't pull the edge like that too much. You want it to lie flat, and you want the knots to be not too tight. But I'm going to double knot this and make it snug. Okay, we can tuck this in later. It looks like, again, we're going to be sandwiching. So now we continue. We can put back the marker on top of the last stitch we made, because we have to do 1 more round. So for round 6, we have to increase stitch 4 single crochet stitches 6 times and end up with 36 stitches. Okay, so I'm just going to get some yarn here. And we're going to do an increasing stitch. And we're going to do 4 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to do an increasing stitch. And then another 4 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to do an increasing stitch. 1, 2, and then do 4 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we just have to repeat this 3 more times. Okay, remove the marker. Now it says, place the inner part of the wheel beneath the outer part of the wheel and crochet both layers at the same time. Crochet what? Like single crochet? Cut a circle slightly smaller than the wheel size from the cardboard and insert it between the 2 parts while crocheting. Okay, we're doing a slip stitch. All right, slip stitch in all 36 stitches, fasten off leaving a tail for sewing. Sew the wheels to the side of the chair with gray yarn. Straight stitch spokes on outside of wheels. Okay. So rather than start this right now, I'm going to use it as a pattern. So take this time to get your cardboard. Okay, so I don't have the regular box cardboard, but I do have like this one. I think like the regular shipping boxes are a lot thicker than this, but I'm just using this. So what we're gonna do is I'm going to capitalize on these little indentation circles here. So I'm going to take a marker and I'm just going to mark around it. And we are going to cut a lot less than this because we do have to make it smaller. So don't worry about being super exact. But so this shape, in a perfect world, you'd want a perfect circle. So if you have a compass, a drafting compass, then by all means, I think I gave my compass away years ago. So you want to cut smaller than this. I'm just going to cut a lot smaller than this just because this was kind of, you want to make it, see, like I hate this. But anyway, you want to make it small enough because we have to sandwich it between these 2 pieces. Okay. So let's just cut our circle here with my beat up detail scissors. All right, I should probably use, I'm going to get the bigger ones. Hold on. Okay, I got a bigger scissor, and then if I have to trim anything, I'll use the smaller scissors. A box cutter would be nice. Not a box cutter, X-Acto knife, but that would require some experience. I did architecture in college and we built models, and you gain experience right away using X-Acto knives, box cutters. When it comes to different thicknesses of cardboard, mat board, you don't want to cut yourself. I've seen many students have to leave class. It's not funny, to address their cut fingers. Some were worse than others, but knock on wood, I've never, because I'm usually extra careful. Have I poked myself? Yup. But I've never, thank goodness, made any lacerations or anything like that. Have I had a paper cut on cardboard? Yes, it is possible. So, again, be careful with that. All right, and actually you need two, darn it. I should get that piece back and do another one. So I'm actually gonna go get that again. Do two, because we're doing two. I won't be showing the second one on there. But, I'll show you cutting a second circle on here. I don't know why I need a circle. I probably don't, right? Okay, so now that we're actually going around the cardboard, you do want to cut close to the line. Okay. This has been the most involved character of this crochet kit. This is a lot. I go into these things thinking they'll take time. I just didn't think they would take this much time and this much effort. So if you are signing up for this, I commend you. Whoever you give this to should commend you as well, because this is no joke. We are constructing stuff right now. Like, after all is said and done, you can sit back and be like, oh, OMG, but at the same time be like, I just made a wheelchair. You just made that. I don't think, never ever in my life have I made a wheelchair. All right, so size it up. I see that I'm going to have to just trim it a little bit more. So I'm just gonna shear off maybe a couple millimeters until that black marker is gone. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do is just lay this on top of the other one. You can stick to one side if you want to kind of cheat having to do it all the way around in a circle. Okay, just make sure you line that up, and then you can cut around your pattern, i.e. the other wheel. Okay, so now we have our two hopefully similar wheels. Okay, now we can slip this in here. We are going to be doing our slip stitches. You can tuck in any of these excess pieces. All right, place the inner part of the wheel beneath the outer wheel and crochet in both layers. You know what's crazy? All right, sew the wheels to the sides of the chair with gray on straight spokes on outsides of wheels. Okay, so they want you to do these spokes. Why wouldn't they have you do it now? Because now would be a great time. We just have to devise a way to do it. I'm gonna have to cut a piece of gray yarn. Let me see. Wish I knew what this is gonna look like, because there's like two here, but it's not, you know, this one's entirely gray. So why would it look like that? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Right? Shouldn't one be like gray? All right, so the way that I have my yarn is I pulled it from the inside. And I've had videos, maybe in this one, where I pull the inside out so that this doesn't roll around. Now, there's an outside part that has more gray yarn. The outside end piece. I'm going to use that to cut my yarn. Now, if you didn't do it that way and you did the outside, you could possibly try to find the inside. If you don't want to risk ruining your spool, then what I'd suggest is take a really long piece that's connected to your project, really long. You might need enough to go around, but I would cut it and then get some yarn that way so we can sew the spokes on. It's just crazy because if we do it after, you're going to have to figure out a way to hide your knots. And, you know, I'm not good at sewing. I don't know if you're good at sewing. But to hide those knots in your project is a nightmare. So I'm going to sew it up now. I just have to get my tapestry needle. Okay. Oh, I actually had yarn from the last time. But anyway. Okay, so I have my yarn here. I'm going to sew the spokes on now, you guys. So hopefully you're able to do that. If you just want to wait and do it later, you can always rewind the video and do it later. But I always try to find ways to make sure I can hide knots, hide excess pieces. You know, you want this to be as clean as possible, especially if you're starting out, because it's not gonna look clean from the get-go. Your first run at Dr. Finklestein is gonna look like a hot mess. So wherever you can kind of limit the amount of mess you're making. And I laugh because I feel like me constructing Dr. Finklestein this first time around, this is my first time doing it, I think it looks like a horrible mess. I mean, look at this. This is like, I don't know what's going on here. But when I do it again, if I do it again, I always try to make it better than I did last time. So while we're here, okay, separate these pieces and we're going to sew the spokes on. So it looks like, ooh, does that look like a double? Sew the wheels on the center with gray yarn, straight spokes. So straight is just simple, easy peasy, go up one, go in one, but it doesn't say if you use one or two strands. Maybe it's just one. Let's see how one looks. And then this is a learning curve for the second one you do. Okay, so I'm just going to stick this up here. Man, I tried to be clean about it, but I snagged the yarn a little bit. Now, when I pull this out, I'm going to leave a bunch so that I can tie it later. But you go in here and you go back into, I guess, the outside of this thing here. I don't even know. The center of the wheel. Okay. Then I'm going to come back up, try to make them straight. I know that's going to be a little difficult. Okay, try not to sew the piece you need to sew things, to crochet things together. But yeah, and then we're gonna come back up through here. Okay. Then we're gonna come in from the sides. So from here. Okay. Ah, I missed it. All right. Let me see if I can try. If you kind of missed it like I did, try to stick it back in the hole that you put it in. I didn't. Oh wait, I snagged something. That's why. Okay. I didn't. Darn it. All right, I know another way. I'm going to remove this and I'm just going to feed it through. I'm going to pull it out. Hey, it happens, right? Okay. It'd be easier if they had it. See, it looks like it stops at the center. It'd be easier if you can just sew it in the center, because then you know for sure you're going to the center. Okay, I just have to redo this. Okay. Now again, try to hit that gray. Okay, then we're going to come up here. Maybe I should just double spoke it because oh my gosh. Or maybe it'll be fine. I think it'll be fine. All right, and once we hit our 4th spoke, we can flip this over, and I'm going to tie this off. Try not to make it too tight because you'll start pulling the spokes and it might change up the shape of your wheel. And we're all going to be tucking this stuff inside so you don't have to worry about hiding it or anything. We just place our cardboard here, place this over it, and now we can start sandwiching this together. So we have to slip stitch in all 36 stitches and fasten off. So let me show you what a slip stitch is. So we are going to stick our hook into any of the stitches in the inner wheel. And make sure you have it facing the right side. So you want to see nice rows. Obviously the spokes are out. On this one, you want to make sure you see the spiral. If you see like this, it looks kind of not so individual, then that's the wrong side. So stick it in any of the stitches on the inner wheel / gray wheel. All right, so now that we have that, I'm going to yarn over, okay, and this should actually be behind. Your yarn should always be behind your hook, just for, you know, general practices, unless your instructions tell you otherwise. Okay, so we're going to yarn over, and we're going to pull that through both loops, or, you know, stitches. Okay, and that's basically a slip stitch. That's all it is. So we're going to go into the next stitch on the outer wheel, and then we're going to go into the next stitch on the inner wheel. Like that. We're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull through everything. Like that. And then again, into the next stitch on the outer wheel, into the next stitch of the inner wheel. We're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull through everything. Okay, so now we just have to do this 33 more times. So you have a lot to hold on here. It might be a little difficult, but you can get it done. If you need to, you can rest the wheel on your workstation so that you don't have to worry about the cardboard keep popping out, because as of now, there's nothing really holding it except the pressure of you holding it. This is a thick wheel, so imagine if you use like regular cardboard, you'd have a thick wheel. If you wanted like a sturdier, thinner board, I would use mat board. The only problem is you would definitely need an X-Acto knife for that because it's really hard to cut. And you'd have to, with an X-Acto knife, you'd have to score it a few times. Scoring meaning you'd have to like cut a little bit of the first layer in a circle, of course, and then you'd have to go back and recut the circle to cut the layers, because mat board is, I don't know what it is exactly, but it's highly compact, thin board, so it's not easy like paper. Okay, you guys, I think for now, like, this video is over an hour. So we are making headway. I think we could probably finish Dr. Finklestein in this video. As you know, I'm going to be doing the second everything, the second wheel, inner and outer, off camera for time's sake. So we're going to be good. And I can't wait to move on. I'm actually interested in doing Silent Hill, but we're going to be doing Zero next. Zero seems to be a nice tiny dog, so I can imagine that the time would take to make that won't be that long. It's a very nice switch up from Dr. Finklestein because he's so involved. My videos, although it's a 3-part video, has been, what, over 2 hours? This is the only one that probably won't, maybe. Now that I said it, probably will, but it's a nice change up. As I'm coming around the cardboard, I can feel that it's getting a little tighter around the wheel. Hopefully I cut it down enough to where everything fits and I don't have to pull out the cardboard and recut it. So while I'm here with you guys, just letting you know again, I think I've said in almost every video, I am holding a 2,000 subscriber giveaway. I want to thank everyone that has viewed my videos. I really appreciate that. It definitely helps my channel so much. And I want to give back to my followers. So I presented in a live a few weeks ago. The thumbnail has the giveaway on there. I stated the rules as to what you need to do. It's fairly easy if you haven't noticed it in any of these videos already. But I'll be choosing 2 winners. It's open internationally, and it's going to be one winner that would like to have nails stuff, because I also do nails, and then another winner that likes crafts. So we're going to do that. And I've kind of been paying attention enough to know who's who. I just realized I probably should have had people kind of mention what they like, but I kind of figured, all right, okay. So we are here, and then now we have to just fasten this off. So I don't know how much we're going to need, maybe. Oh, wait. No, we need enough to sew. So fasten off, leaving a tail for sewing. So I don't know how much we're going to need, but I'm just going to pull a decent amount. We're going to yarn over to fasten off, yarn over. I'm going to pull all of this through the loop. Okay, tighten it up. And we have our first wheel, you guys. Yay! And we have to sew it onto the chair. So let's see, sew the wheels to the sides of the chair with gray yarn. Let's see if I can do that now. So I'm going to get my tapestry needle. I'm going to thread up the hole of this, the eyelet of this needle, and we're going to take a look at the chair. This is like the worst. I hate this. This is like not my favorite part. All right, let me present to you a threader. Definitely not in the kit, but you should go and invest in one. There's several different kinds of threaders. There's something like this. They have wire threaders that just look like a very skinny wire. But you slip this through the eyelet hole. I'm hoping that it works because yarn is a thick material. So you place it in the hook like this and you pull it through your eye hole. Okay, good, it fit. And it threads your needle. Again, this, I'm sure it's a needle threader. So if you type that in, Amazon something, or ask somebody at Michael's, Hobby Lobby, something like that. Okay. Because I didn't have time for that. All right, we got to sew this onto the chair. How? I do not know. We have our chair. Here it is. Like how? All right, looks like we have something like this. So just so that everything is not so straight, like I'm going to make it off a little. But I actually want it, if you've seen a wheelchair, the wheel is lower than the footrest. So maybe sew it halfway up the arm like that. And this is nuts. I am just guessing. So however you like to sew it together, that's how you should do it. Because my way might not be the best way. But whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So however you choose it, try to make sure that you can do it on the other side. It looks like I'm just going to have to go in and out like this. This is insane. Okay, I'm almost at the other side. Okay. Now once I'm on the other side, I think I'm just gonna snake this under here and try to hide it this way. Maybe I'll sew this little flap together. To make some sort of sturdiness with this thing. Then I'm gonna figure out a way to tie my knot. And I'm doing this in the underside so you can't really see the mess. Okay. So I got that. I'm gonna just cut off till about 1 inch or so. And I'm gonna use my hook. And I'm going to hide it inside the wheel. Okay, so now we have that made. We've got one side done. We have to do the other. Now let's look ahead. Weir wheel. So it's going to be this guy, I'm assuming. But we'll get into that. We have to make 2 on the rod. So I'm actually going to make now the second wheel so that this guy's just not chilling like this. Look how we're trying here, guys. All right. Yeah, I'm going to do the second one so it's just not, you know, crooked. But look at that. This is real nice. All right, we're getting there, you guys. Okay. So let's do the rear wheel now. With the gray, we're going to do an adjustable ring. We have different sized stitches this time, so it's going to be a different count of chains. So let's do this. You know, I've done this a bunch of times already, so just rewind back if you need to see again how to do the adjustable ring. But I'm just going to get this done. We're almost there, you guys. I might be able to fit in everything in this last video and we can move on to 0. I'm looking forward to 0. 0 is kind of a main character because he's the best friend of Jack Skellington, but it's, you know, like a puppy, so it's not like he's that prominent or has lines even, but he's just the cutest and funniest thing. Okay. So I got my ring and it says we're going to chain 2 and do 7 half double crochet stitches. So in the past we were just doing single crochet, and although it didn't say it here, but in the beginning of the book, after you make your adjustable ring, you chain 1, and you chain 1 to make the height of the single crochet stitches, and that's universal. So if you were doing rows and you did single crochet stitches, you put it in the second chain from the hook that we did in one of these instructions. But so in this case now we are going to do 2 chains because a half double crochet is slightly bigger than, or taller than, a single crochet. So let's do 2 chains, 1, 2, and then let me show you how to do a half double crochet. And this is actually my favorite stitch, favorite basic stitch actually. So all it is you're going to yarn over, and that's before any time you make a half double crochet. You want to load it up. So yarn over, stick your hook into the adjustable ring, and then you're going to want to yarn over again, pull up a loop, and then we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So that's the half double crochet stitch. And I like it because it leaves a braid on the top there, and then it also leaves a braid in the back. And you're going to see that once I can show you after we finish this ring. But that's 1. So we just have to do 6 more. So yarn over. We're going to stick our hook into the adjustable ring. We're going to yarn over again and pull up a loop, yarn over again, and pull through all 3 loops. Okay, so now we have 2 with our 2 chains. So let's do this again with you guys. Yarn over, put it in the adjustable ring, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops. So now we have 3 half double crochet stitches in 2 chains. And we just got to do this 3 more times. 2 and 3. Okay. So now I'm going to flip this upside up to see the back side. See, it has a nice braid in the back and the braid in the front. And it's not just because I like how it looks, it's because when I crochet the next row, I just feel like it gives it a stronger hold, even though it's not. It's the same 2 chains. I don't know, because it's thicker on top, I guess. Top heavy. I don't know. Anyway. Oh, that's 6. I got to do 1 more. Sorry. 7 altogether. 3, 6, and then 2 chains. Yeah, 1 more. My bad. Okay. So we have 7 half double crochet stitches. We are going to do the same thing that we did with all the other adjustable rings. We're going to pull this out, see which one goes in, and then pull that one out at its lower half. Let the other one go into the magic ring and disappear. Once that happens, you pull the excess piece and let that disappear. Then pull in the opposite direction and up to get just that little bit more left. We're going to mark this off, the last stitch we made. And again, I'm breezing through this because we've done this more than 3 times already. So if you need to see the adjustable ring, you can go back in the video and watch it. Okay. So now we completed round 1. Oh, is that it? Slip stitch in first stitch to join. Oh, that was easy. And so we don't really need this, sorry. And that's good though, because I love this slip stitch. I don't like this spiraling stuff, but anyway. So count 7 from the hook. 3, 6, and 7, right? 3, 6, and 7. Stick your hook into the 7th stitch. And we're going to do a slip stitch. So we just yarn over and slip through all the loops off your hook. And then that's it. So it says fasten off the first wheel, leaving a tail for sewing. Okay, so let's, you probably don't need this much, but I'm going to cut it anyway. You never know. Never know. And since this is your own yarn and not the kit yarn, you can, you know how much you are able to waste. Okay. So that is that. And then let's move on to the rod. Okay, so for row 1, so we're going to do regular rows. With gray, we're going to chain 16. So we're going to cast on. We've got the ring finger, pinky, and thumb. We've got the index and middle finger. Hold the yarn apart like this. We're going to lay across the hook perpendicular to the yarn. Then you're going to go down, out, and around to create this kind of movable loop. Move the loop towards your thumb. We're going to take our middle finger and just hold it down where it crosses. Let go of your left hand. We're going to gather up some yarn here. And then you're going to pinch the end of this excess piece. And we're going to move the loop closer to the thumb again. When you hit your thumb, pinch the intersection with your middle finger and your thumb so you can stabilize that loop. It can no longer go up or down. We're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through that loop. So now I'm going to overhand the hook. I'm going to pinch the end again, and we're going to push this knot towards the thumb, either at a stopping point or when you butt up against the thumb, you can stop what you're doing. So once you get to either situation, then you can take your thumb and middle finger and just pull that excess piece just a little bit more to make that knot a little snug, not too tight. We're going to grab the knot, you're going to pull it up to the hook, and you're going to leave some space because we're going to do our next stitches after that. So now I'm going to gather up some yarn here. We have to do 16 chains. So we're going to yarn over and pull through the loop. Yarn over, pull through the loop. Yarn over, pull through the loop. We've done this a bunch of times already, so if you need it slower, you can look back in the video. But we've done 3, so now we just have to do 13 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh. If you need to creep up your thumb more, do so. That'll help you stabilize your your project a little bit better. And I did lose count. Hold on, let me just count this whole thing now, damn it. I mean, darn it. Sorry. 3, 6, 8. Okay. Altogether I have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Now just make sure you have 16 stitches. So from the hook, count your stitches. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16. Okay. So now it says skip the first chain from the hook, and then we're going to do 15 single crochet stitches, carrying the wire thread inside the stitches to stiffen the rod. Oh, okay. So like we did with the border of the wheelchair, we're going to do the same thing with the rod. So I'd measure out your wire, your threading wire. Okay, I'm just going to go over it because we are going to do a fold. I don't know if that's the right way, but I like to tuck my ends because I don't want them to be poking anybody. So I'm just going to wrap this around the excess piece at this point and fold it down onto it. And then I'm just going to, you can use a plier, that might be better to use. It'll make nice tight spirals, but I'm just going to use my thumb and index finger in this case, and I'm just going to twist it. Okay. So this is going to blunt the edge when we're crocheting this inside, and we get to tuck in that end. Hopefully it's still going to stick out. I don't like this wire situation. You're just asking for it. Okay. But what we're going to do now is we're going to skip this stitch. And like I said, I don't do it normal, like normal would just be sticking it on the top loop of the next stitch, I turn it on its side and I put it in the back hump. So skip your stitch and then put your hook into the next stitch, however which way you want it. We're going to keep this wire piece close to the hook as possible. And then we're going to do our single crochet stitch like we normally would. Okay, so we have 1, we just have to do 14 more. So into the next stitch. Make sure you are wrapping your yarn around the wire. You always want it lying on top of your hook before you do your stitch to ensure that you're crocheting it with it. Okay, next stitch. See how I'm covering it with the yarn? Okay. And you just keep doing this till I reach maybe like with 3 remaining left or 4 remaining left, because I got to tuck in this other end like we did with the border of the wheelchair. So this is going to provide stiffness to your rod. Makes sense. But again, they should really pack their kit with dowel rods, plastic ones, malleable plastic ones. I've seen that. Or it's plastic, but you can still shape it and it'll stay in its shape. Okay, this is bending because I'm bending it as I'm doing the project, which is unintentional, so just be mindful of that. So I've got like 4 stitches left, like I said. I'm going to go ahead and bend the other end. So what you need to do is just measure off, you know, I guess by eyesight or something, the length of the wire you need. I'm going to bend it down. I am going to cut this little piece, and be careful with the extra pieces that you cut of wire. You want to make sure you dispose of that. You don't want it like laying around. I think when I was in college, we had our projects to do, and I remember using wire for something, but I had little tiny shards of it left, and that was like just a huge mistake because I would get it stuck in my skin and stuff because it would just be lying around and just me cleaning it up. So always discard your extra wire pieces. Unless it's really long enough to save, especially if you have animals. Okay, I'm going to leave like a loop so I can stick my hook in later, hopefully. Okay, we're going to finish these last few stitches. And try to make it the length of your project. So I'm going to stick my hook into the last stitch, and I'm going to stick it into that loop of the wire so that I can make sure that end is secure. So we've got that slipped onto the hook, and I'm going to complete my last single crochet stitch. Okay, so that's that. insert one end of the rod between the wheels and sew the wheels together. Insert one end of the rod. Then stitch the other end of the rod to the middle of the chair seat. Okay. So we're going to fasten this. Oh, did it say fasten off? It didn't, but we're going to. So let's, since we have to sew this, I don't know what I'm going to use because we have a tail for the wheels and a tail for the rod. So maybe this one will be sewn to the chair. So give yourself some tail. And when we come back, I am going to have everything made and sewn onto the wheelchair, with the exception, of course, of these last two instructions, because we have not shown how to put that together yet. What's on this other side? Oh, that's it. And then it will show us how to situate Dr. Finklestein onto the chair. We have to sew him to the chair. So this is pretty much it. Like I said, I'll come back, you guys, with everything on there with the exception of the rear wheels and the rod, so I can show you how to attach those. And then we're going to move on to 0. Okay, so we have our rod. I didn't fasten this off yet, but we have our 2 rear wheels. Okay, and I got way too much, but I got excited there, so. All right, so now insert one end of the rod between the wheels and sew the wheels together. Then stitch the other end of the rod to the middle of the chair seat. Okay, so I'm going to fasten this off. So yarn over and pull this through the whole thing and tighten this up. I'm going to make this end the end that you put to the chair because we need some tail to sew. This end I'm going to, I guess, sandwich my wheels together. I guess it's supposed to be like this. Let's just take a look at the photo just to make sure. Okay, so it kind of looks like, yeah, we're sandwiching, which means we won't necessarily need both of these. So let us, this I'm going to tie to the, I'm going to tie to the excess piece from the adjustable ring. That way, because it's on the edge, I don't like that. You could weave it if you want, but I'm just going to tie it to the excess piece so that it kind of anchors itself closer to the inside than on the outside. Okay, I'm going to double knot this. Okay, and then I am going to be cutting a lot off. I just want enough so that I can tuck it into the tire. So we cut off a whole chunk there. Same thing with this. Oh, for some reason this is on this side. Oh no, that's the right side. Whoops. Woohoo. Hello. All right, same thing on this tire. I'm going to double knot that end tail to the excess piece from the adjustable ring. So you just want to tuck in the bump is why, right? And then we're going to only cut the adjustable ring piece, not the tail, because we need some tail to sew the tires together. Okay, so I'm going to take the end of the tail of the tire and we are going to feed this into the eyelet. Favorite part, Ooh, that one easy. Okay. So now, I don't know. I guess we're going to try to put the center of the tire to like the middle of this rounded part here. That's not the tail end, right? And then I'm going to take the other one and just line it up. Line up the stitching as well. And we're going to sew the two pieces together. At some point, I am going to poke the center of the tires because we have to hit the rod. What we're doing right now is just sandwiching the rod. We're not actually securing the rod. If you don't secure the rod, it's going to slip out of your tire. I think we'll poke it here, actually. We won't have to go in the center. Okay, so just line up the stitches and sew them together. I'm a little happier about this part of the video because we are almost done with this. I'm going to charge forward with 0, our next character, and then we'll end up with Spiral Hill. Spiral Hill seems like a large project, so that might take us a bit. I'm going to put this through the rod actually. And this is the exact reason why I do my rows the way I showed you. Look, you can see the half double crochet stitches, and you can see what I left here. So that's always great. When it comes to the rod, now that we're poking through it, yeah, I would just go through one side of the rod, come back out the other, and then we're going to use the next stitch on the tire to sew. So we will be coming out back through the rod. Okay, and that should hold your rod to the tire. And then I think we have one more stitch left, maybe 2, not sure. I think this is just one left. Okay, and once we reach to the other side again, I'm going to stick this somewhere, maybe in that same stitch. I'm going to tie in my knot. Okay. And then I'm just going to weave it through the rod. And that will hide our excess piece from our tail. Okay, I did sew everything else all together. So after this, I'm going to whip everything out, or at least the chair, and I'm going to sew this to the chair. I have no idea how I'm going to sew that. It doesn't tell you either where to sew. It just says the back of the chair. So I'm going to have to take a look at it. All right, this is more than enough that I needed. Really wasn't expecting it to be this long. So I'm just gonna cut this down. All right. Now I'm gonna take my tapestry needle and thread up the tail of the rod. Okay. All right, between the wheels and sew the wheels together, then stitch the other end of the rod to the middle of the chair seat. So somewhere there. Let's move this out. Here's my wonderful rickety cricket chair. Again, I wish they had like made it. It would have been a lot more work, but if they made like you put cardboard in the seating so that it's stiff, and then the construction of the wheels are iffy. But I'm going to try to sit this up on its own, and I'm going to determine where I sew by putting this wheel with the rod, and I guess we can prop it up. You know, it doesn't say where. I'm going to prop it up right where the bend is. I don't know if that's the best idea. I don't know if you should do it under. I'm going to do it right here. And so that's going to gauge like at what angle, what stitches you're going to use. I just wish it was stable so that, you know, you can work on this better. And you know what? It's just wire threading. This thing isn't going to hold up for long, I feel. I don't know. We'll see when we place Dr. Finklestein down. So here you have that piece. I think I'm just gonna like, it looks like it wants to go here. Let's go down and up actually. Okay, so we started that. Now, I'm not a sewer, so just figure out a way to secure both sides of your rod. So here's the top side. I'm going to call this the top side. Okay, as you see, I would lay it down to show you, but I want to make sure that having this sit up, this angle is going to be correct. So maybe I'm going to go through the chair, that little seam of the chair. Then I'll go out the other way to get to the other side, because I want to go to the underside now, but I still want to secure this. So now we're going to go on the bottom of this rod right there. Even if I do this, I don't even know if it's going to be secure because this thing is just flapping in the wind. Maybe it needs to go here. So I'm coming up through the seat again. And I'm going to go in through the other side. So flimsy. Okay, then I'm going to go through the stitch. And so, I mean, I guess that's all she wrote. So now I got to figure out a place to tie a knot. I don't know. All right, maybe I'll just hide this in the rod. So I'm going to weave it in and out of the stitching of the rod. Okay, so here we have it. Our chair. Okay, this is just so not okay. All right, got our chair. Now talk to me. Position Dr. Finklestein on the wheelchair and pin his body in place using the tapestry needle and white yarn. Attach the body to the chair in the sitting position, then remove the pins. White yarn, yeah, maybe even the black embroidery floss, because that would be so thin it would disappear. You're going to see white yarn coming in and out of this thing, but we'll just do the white so you can see it. So let's get some white yarn. Oh my gosh, I don't know how this happened, but this is a complete mess. Okay, it's because this is unraveling. Let me just put this stuff back. All right, I'm going to gather a lot of bit of yarn because I don't know how much I'm going to need. Okay, I'm going to get my tapestry needle. Threading up my needle with the white yarn. Okay, so let's sit this guy into our chair. All right, his legs look like he needs help. All right, I think maybe a sew here at the butt, where the corner, where the seam of the chair is to the butt, and then maybe one in the back. I guess you don't need too much, but this is what it's going to look like. It's going to be obvious and it's not going to be pretty. So, but how else are you going to sew this onto? Like I said, you could use black embroidery floss so that it would kind of camouflage better. But let's see. All right, and I just guesstimated, okay? Your guess is as good as mine. It doesn't say where. I'm just going to stick one end of his backside to the other, like a little pinch. Okay. And I'm going to kind of put this in the middle. So let's stick this. All right, now realizing that this rod is not quite in the middle. Oh well. So now we're just gonna tie it. You know, I don't know how else we're gonna do this thing. So we'll just tie it. but make sure that his butt is in there. So if you have to pull a little bit tighter to get his butt in there, okay, and then tie it. Now, you know what I say for, I'm gonna sew his back to secure his back. I say you just use gray. I got all this white, I think gray, because it's gonna stick out from the back and you're gonna see it. So you might as well pick a color that's going to blend. Okay, so luckily I have a ton of gray that I cut from my tail ends. Oh my goodness, let's pick something that's not going to give me a headache. Okay, here we go. Because you're poking through his back anyway, so they're not going to see it. Okay. So same thing, we're going to, from the back, stick our needle in, and then you're going to pinch like a little area on his back here. We're going to poke through it. Okay. I'm going to try to go back out in the same row in fairly equal distance so that he's centered. I think I'm off on the bottom part, but you know, what can you do? And then we're going to tie it this way. So you're going to see it anyway. I wonder what they did. It'd be nice if they show you, and notice how they don't show you the back. So but you see, if you just use the gray, I probably should have used the gray in the beginning, but it said white. So, and then you can just hide these ends, you know, you can weave them. This is just so not stable. It's kind of sad. Well, he's back, and I guess you can let his feet dangle. There should have been wire in here. In fact, maybe that's what you could do. If you can't sew it, like, let me see. Because he needs to have a fold. He's just like trying to get up. Maybe I can put another white one here. What do you think? Or if you put a rod and then you bend it, let's see. And they say to put a 3-inch rod in his body. There's 3-inch rods everywhere else. Let's make it 4. And it could be a bad idea, but I guess I could just find it and take it back out. So I'm using a 4-inch rod. I'm gonna bend it here a little bit, or maybe not even, like bend it like a J. And sorry, doctor. I need you to bend. I don't know if this will work. And then you can sandwich him more by making that bend a little bit more bendy. There you go. And just warn your whoever you're gifting this to. But now it's like top heavy. Oh, maybe because this is the most flimsiest thing ever. The wheels need something. I mean, I guess not. All right, so I've got it, and I've got that fold because we put the wire in there. Maybe if we bend it even more. Yeah, do a crunch. Work out. All right, and then try to situate this. Okay. So I think I've got it. We are done. Finally. This was the worst. I don't like this. I think it's fun. It worked out. It looks great, but it's not stable at all. I think there needs to be a piece constructed between the wheel and the two wheels. You need like a spoke here. This thing is just flapping in the wind. Rather than have this rod, because I think this was standing up on its own, you need to construct like a wire or something, like we could do a long amigurumi, like Jack Skellington's leg around a rod. I would do that. And I would sew it to each end, lock it in place, and it'll be more structured than just leaving this like this. So this is probably the worst construction in the book so far, and it's not any account to, you know, the user. You know, I'm not perfect, but for sure this needs better construction. All right, you guys, so that is it. We've got Dr. Finklestein. He's just chilling like a villain, which he really was. At any rate, this is what he looks like at the side, and look at his nose. It's so, or bill. It's like sad. Side profile. Well, you can see it now. Yeah, not a fan of this one. I think it looks cute, but not a fan. All right. So, thank you so much for watching, you guys. We have next 0. Where are you, 0? We've got 0 next, and then we got Silent Hill. Or Silent Hill. Is that a movie? I think it is. Spiral Hill. And then we're going to do Shock, Lock, and Barrel. Alright. Okay, you guys. Well, thank you so much for watching. This is Isms by Josie. Please share, like, and subscribe for future videos. And I'll see you again next time. Thanks. Bye.